This is your new chapter, chapter number 9. The name of the chapter is Things Around Us. The page number 118. This is the second chapter of your second term examination. Basically, this chapter is meant for understanding about the living things and the non-living things. This chapter will try to clear the understanding of the living things as well as the non-living things. This chapter is based on these two different concepts, living things and the non-living things. This is the first discussion of this chapter. This is the module 1 discussion, and today we are going to discuss about different things of this chapter, such as what do we understand by living things and the non-living things, what is the general understanding about the living things as well as the non-living things, what is photosynthesis, what is organisms, what is life, what are the different types of characteristics of living things, and this is the page number 126, the difference between living things and the non-living things. And the last topic is the differences and the similarities between the plants and the animals. As I stated earlier, this chapter is mainly based on two different concepts of the things, living things and the non-living things. Primarily, living things means the organism. An organism may be of two kinds, animals and the plants. And only living things have life. On contrary, the non-living things having no life. And non-living things are termed as non-living organisms, we can say, but the living things are called the living organisms. Mainly organisms, this term is used for the living things, for animals and the plants, but not for the non-living things. Mind it. We know that on the earth the objects are present, and they may be of natural or the man-made type. I repeat, on our earth the objects are present. There is the availability of the objects on the earth, and the objects may be of two kinds. Number one, natural objects. The second one is the man-made objects, we can say also. And the natural object is of two kind, that is living object and the non-living. The natural objects may be living objects and the non-living. The living objects are the animal as well as the plants. And excluding this living object, such as animals and the plants, the rest of the things fall under the category of non-living objects. For example, everything we can include under this category having no life. Clear? But on contrary, having life, these things are categorized as the living things or the living organisms, such as animals and the plants. Now the main thing of today's discussion is what is about our own general understanding about the living things. This is the most demandable aspect of discussion of this chapter. What's our general understanding about the living things? The first and the foremost understanding about the living thing is they will have life in them. They will have life in them. But for the case of non-living things, they will have no life. The living things can move by their own effort, whereas a non-living thing can't move. The living things need the air, the water, the food for their survival, whereas the non-living things don't require air, water and food. We can give different kinds of examples to make a clear-cut difference between the living and the non-living things. For instance, dog, cat, different kinds of animals, the insects, the birds, etc. are called the living things. Why? Because they need the air, water and food. They need to move. They need to reproduce. And above all, they all do have life. But the book, bed, table, TV, etc., these are the non-living things because they having no life. They can't move, they can't reproduce themselves by their own selves. They don't need air, water, food, etc. As I mentioned earlier, the organism, this term is only used for the living things, and the living organisms is of two different types of. Number one, animals and the plants. Hence we can say that animals are the living organism. Similarly, we can also mention that plants also are the living organism. Like animals, plants do need water, food, air. For example, plant absorb the water from the soil by taking the help of their root, and this absorbed water is then transported through the xylem tissue to the leaf of the plant, and we know the leaf is called the kitchen of the plant, where the process of photosynthesis is carried out. Plants also absorb the carbon dioxide from the air or the atmosphere by taking the help of the pores, or we can say stomata, which are present on the leaf. And with the help of the sunlight energy and in the presence of the raw material water and the carbon dioxide, plant can easily make the food by themselves. Plants can easily make food by themselves with the help of sunlight and in the presence of the raw material water and the carbon dioxide. And in the presence of the chlorophyll. Now what is photosynthesis? This is the term we can say that incorporates the process of making the food by the plants. I repeat, what is photosynthesis? This is the process of making food by the plant by themselves. This is called the photosynthesis. Photo means in presence of light, synthesis means to break down or to prepare something. In a word, we can say photosynthesis means making food. And photosynthesis, this process is only carried out by the greeny plants only. Greeny plants or any green living organisms, but not mostly by the animals, because they are devoid of the chlorophyll on their bodies. Thus we can say, as the plant can produce their own food, they can move also, they need to live, air, water, food for their survival, etc. We can say also that like animals, plants are also the part of living organism. Now the term, what is the meaning of the term organism? Organism means all living things. All living things are called the organisms. Such as, for example, animals are living organisms, plants are living organisms. Clear? Now what is the life? To speak honestly, there is no definition of life. But for our own understanding, we can use different words synonymously to not to define the word, but for the sake of our own understanding, we can just compare the meaning of life with different other words. Such as, in a word, we can say life means existence on the earth. I'll repeat, we cannot define the word life, but we can just compare the meaning of life with other meaning of the words. For instance, we can say life, although it cannot be defined, but we can say life is synonymous to the word existence. Hence we can say life of any living organism means the existence of that living organism on the earth. Or we can say also at the same time, life is the living entity that exists on the earth. They need food, air, water. They need to move from one place to another place for their survival. They can reproduce by themselves. And by reproducing, they can exist on this earth. These are the quite similar meaning of the term life. But as I mentioned earlier, life cannot be naturally defined. But we can do one thing here about the life, that life can be identified with different features or the characteristics. Although, I repeat once again, although the life is not defined, having different similar meanings of the other words, but life can be identified with the different types of characteristics or the features, and these different types of characteristics or features are called the life characteristics. Now the question is, what are the different types of characteristics of the living things? This is very important for us to know. Once again I repeat, what are the different types of characteristics of the living things? Let's move for this answer of that question. There are different types of characteristics of living things. In your book you will find yourselves 10 different types of life characteristics of the living things. And what are they? Number 1, living things need air, water and food. Number 2, living things grow. Number 3, living things move by themselves from one place to another place. The fourth one is living things do have a sense of feeling. Number 5 is living things respire. Respires means breathing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Living things respire. Living things do respiration. Inhalation, oxygen, and exhalation, carbon dioxide. This is also called the exchange of gas in animals. The sixth one is living things put out or excrete the waste products from the body. This is called the process of excretion. The seventh one is living things produce by themselves their own kind. This is called the reproduction process. The number 8 is living things do have a definite lifespan. The meaning of definite lifespan means the period between the life and the death. To mention specifically, we can say the definite lifespan means taking the birth, growing old, and finally die. This is also called by another term, that is the life cycle. Lifespan means the life cycle, and the life cycle lies between the period of life and death. This is the life cycle. The ninth characteristic of the living thing is living things are made up of the cells, and we know cells are the structural and the functional units of the living organism. And the final characteristic of the living things, that is the 10th number, and that is all living things will have definitely a definite shape and the size. These are the 10 different kinds of life characteristics of the living things. In our next module of the discussion, we will discuss each and everything, pin and points of these characteristics individually in detail. That means in our next video we will discuss, or will be trying to detail about these characteristics of the living things in the discussion of module 2. Now this is the page number 126. The another important topic of this chapter is what are the basic differences between the living and the non-living things. This is the chart of living things and the non-living things based on the parameter of difference, such as cells are the structural units for the living things. But for the case of non-living things are mainly non-cellular structure. The second one is all living things do have definite shape and size, but for the case of living things, The living things may be found in different shapes and the sizes. The third one is living things can move by their own selves from one place to another place. Non-living things move when external forces is applied. Mind it. Living things naturally move from one place to another place, and non-living things can only move when the external force is applied externally or from the outside on that body of the non-living things. Then they can move, otherwise they will never move. The fourth one is growth is the striking characteristic of all living things. That means they can grow for a certain time of their life span or the life cycle, but the non-living things mainly can't grow, but there may be the chances of growing under the circumstances of deposition of the matter externally. That means growth for non-living things may be occurred if there is the chance of deposition of matter externally on the body of the non-living things. But naturally they cannot grow. Another difference between the non-living and the living thing is the living things need food, air and water for their survival. But the non-living things never require food, air and water. The sixth number is the all living things respire. That means they breathe, they inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. The non-living things never respire. The living things are very much sensitive to the stimulus. That means they have the sensitivity, and the non-living things do not have the sensitivity. That means they cannot get sensitized against the stimulus. The living things can reproduce themselves by their own, and non-living things cannot reproduce. But there is the exceptionality. For this case, machines may produce the non-living things. That means with the taking help of the machines, non-living things can be recycled. But naturally they cannot reproduce by themselves. And the last one is all living things follow a definite life cycle or the life span. And for the case of non-living things having no life cycle, these are the few mentioned differences between living and the non-living things, and you must know. The last topic of this module 1 discussion is what are the similarities and what are the dissimilarities between the plants and the animals. And we know plants is also the living organism and the animal is also the living organism. Now let's understand what are the different similarities and the dissimilarities or the differences between the plants and the animals. The first one is that the cell structure. In plant body, the plant cells have the cell wall, and this cell wall is made up of cellulose. And the green plants also have the chlorophyll on their body, and this helped in the process of photosynthesis, or we can also say in the process of food making. But in the animal body, the animal cells are devoid of cell wall and are devoid of the chlorophyll. Hence, we can summarize about the cell structure that cell wall is present in the plant, cell wall is absent in the animal. Cellulose is present in the plant body, but cellulose is not present in the animal body. The plants can produce the food, that means they can carry out the process of photosynthesis, but the animals which are devoid of the chlorophyll mostly are not able to carry out the process of photosynthesis. This is the similarities and the dissimilarities or the differences between the plants and the animals. This is the number one. This is the cell structure. Another thing is about the movement and the sensitivity. We know animals shows the locomotion. That means animals can move from one place to another place in search of food, air, in search of food and shelter, and for their soulmates. And always remind yourself that all animals are very much sensitive than the all plants. But the plants are fixed at a fixed place. They cannot show the process of locomotion. That means they cannot move from one place to another place. But movement is found in the plants. That means the plants do perform the movement. For example, the opening and the closing of the flowers. The third one is about the shape and size. All animals have the definite shape and the size and the symmetry. The symmetry of the animal's body is the bilateral symmetry. Now, what is the meaning of bilateral symmetry? Bilateral symmetry means the left part of the body will be exactly similar to the right part of the body. That means if we make a cut on the body into two parts, then we will get two different halves of the whole body. The first half is the symmetry of the second half of the body, and these two halves of the whole body is called the bilateral halves. And as these two halves are similar to each other, that's why we can say they are symmetry in nature. Hence, the meaning of the bilateral symmetry means the one half of the body must be similar to the another half of the body. This is the real meaning of the bilateral symmetry. Therefore, we can say animals' body do have the bilateral symmetry and having the definite shape and size. But this bilateral symmetry and the definite shape and size are not found or seen in the plant body. Now, the presence of different organs in the animal's body and the plant's body. All animals do have the different special types of organs for different functions, such as nose and lungs for breathing purpose, mouth and food pipe, stomach, etc. Mouth and food pipe for the case of intaking of food. Stomach and the intestine are concerned for the digestion of the food. Kidneys are concerned for the putting out or the excreting the waste product from the body. Skin is responsible for sweating, whereas the different sense organ are responsible for the sensing things. But in the plant's body, we will not find such kind of specific organs for the specific task or the functions. But yes, it is true that plants do have the different types of parts such as root, stem, leaf, etc. We know leaves help in the process of photosynthesis. Root help to absorb the water and the minerals from the soil, and stem provide the mechanical strength to the body of the plant, and stems is also treated as the transportation body for the case of the plant, and the storage of food is also found in different parts of the body of the plant. And flowers act for bearing the fruits, and seeds help in reproduction of the plant. These are the different parts of the plant body. But animals have the different organs in their body for the different specific functions. Now, the another similarities and the dissimilarities between the plant and the animals is the propagation. Propagation means the multiplication. Recycling, we can say in another word. Plants may propagate or multiply themselves with the help of their vegetative parts. And what are they? Stem, leaves, roots, etc. These are the vegetative parts of the plants. And through this vegetative part, the plant can easily propagate or multiply itself. But always remind yourself that no such kind of propagation is found or seen in the animal body. Growth. Plants continue to grow throughout their life cycle. But for the case of animals shows only certain type of growth for a certain period of time. We can also mention that animals stop their growing while they attain their adulthood. That means we can say growth is indefinite for the plant, but growth is definite for the animal body. And the last point about the similarity, the dissimilarity between the animals and the plants is the reproduction. Animals reproduce by themselves by the process of laying eggs or by giving birth or to the young ones. By laying eggs or by giving birth of the young ones. And in the plant's body, plants bear seeds in their fruits. These are mainly the flowering plants. The flowering plants bear the seeds in their fruits. Whereas the plants without flowers, they bear the spores on their leaves. And in this way, the flowering plants and the plants without flowers reproduce themselves. That means the mode of reproduction is quite dissimilar in animals and in the plants as well as. In our next video, we will be discussing in detail about each and every characteristic of the living things. Thanks for watching.